So apparently Justin Verlander is going to be out for the next 2 months, out for the rest of the season. Poor guy has to go home and spend quarantine with Kate Upton. Hey everybody, welcome back to NYY Recaps. It's another full-length podcast episode where I'm just going to riff on some things that are on my mind here this late Sunday evening. Finally, 3 games in the books. Baseball has been odd without fans, I'll grant you that, but it's still fun to watch nonetheless. So I want to talk about some of my takeaways from the first 3 games, give you my thoughts on Gerrit Cole's performance, my thoughts on James Paxton's performance, which was obviously not as good. I want to talk a little bit about Clint Frazier because he is blocked, and it doesn't look like he is going to get the shot that he deserves as a Yankee. But, you know, regardless of that, he is at the alternate site now. And then finally, I want to talk about Jonathan Loaisiga, Johnny Lasagna, who pitched today, and I am utterly impressed with. His breaking ball has improved immensely. It was always good, but it has gotten even better, presumably under the guidance of pitching coach Matt Blake, who seems to be also adjusting Chad Green's slider, although I wish he could do something to help James Paxton bring his fastball back. So Gerrit Cole, I mean, what is there to say? He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best. And on opening night, he got through 5 innings, allowed 1 run, just 1 hit. He only struck out 5, so he wasn't as dominant as usual. But I think he's going to get better. And I think I know why he struggled a bit, early on. That adrenaline, man. His first start with his favorite team ever. He's got the pressure of being the highest paid pitcher of all time. The eyes of the nation are on him in the nation's capital. He is on the visiting team, so I don't know if that has any effect. It's a little added pressure. But, I think he was a little amped up. I think the adrenaline got to him. But the fact that he struggled a bit and still went 5 innings, 1 run without his best stuff tells me that we've got a heck of a pitcher. But from watching the rest of the pitchers in the series, I got the impression that people are definitely different phases along like how ready they are compared to how they usually would be. Gerrit Cole, I felt like he wasn't quite in mid-season form, even though this would typically be the mid-season point. He just didn't have the touch of the command of the breaking ball. He was bouncing a few too many. He hung a few too many. Now, his breaking ball was still getting called strikes at the top of the zone because it breaks so sharply. So even when he hangs it, it's like a good drop-in breaking ball. Loaisiga did that a couple times today. But I feel like guys just haven't had a chance, haven't had enough innings to get the breaking ball under consistent command, right? Once that starts to happen, you're going to see a lot of these pitchers round into form. But Gerrit Cole, I thought, was good. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Bronx. I wish his second start wasn't in Philly. He's going to start on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock against the Phillies, and that'll be fun. But I would have liked to see him get pushed back to Wednesday and get the home opener. James Paxton is slotted in right after Gerrit Cole, so he may be scheduled to pitch the home opener, but the way he threw the other night, I'm concerned about James Paxton. And I know that not every pitcher is going to be sharp after a 4-month layoff, but Paxton just had spinal surgery. So he's got to prove that he has recovered from that, and the other night, he did not look right. His fastball last year was routinely 95 to 98 miles an hour, which makes him a very, very special left-handed pitcher. Not a lot of lefties throw that hard. But the other night, he was 91 to 93. I saw 1 or 2 94s. Definitely did not have the bite on his breaking ball, on his cutter. It seemed like he was getting 2 strikes on a lot of guys, but then they would foul off a bunch of pitches, and then he would miss a few times, and ultimately he would lose the battle. He'd either give up a base hit, or he'd walk the guy. So that to me is a sign that he just doesn't have a put-away pitch right now. You remember Luis Severino, when he first came up, used to have the same problem. That's why you'd see him go 4 innings, be knocked out at 100 pitches in the 5th inning. Even though he had great stuff, he's throwing 100 miles an hour, guys are fouling off everything. Same thing with Nathan Eovaldi, who I mentioned in my last podcast. Guys would foul stuff off, and he just didn't have the put-away pitch. Well, Paxton did not have a put-away pitch. A lot of times his put-away pitch is that high fastball, that high spin rate, high upper part of the zone, 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, if that pitch is 93, guys are going to hit it. So it definitely makes a difference. I'm concerned about James Paxton. His breaking ball, he was throwing it on the outer half a lot, which is something that Andy Pettitte used to do. And then he likes to work that cutter on the inner part of the plate to the righties, so it's bearing down and in. That pitch is very hard to do anything with because it's bearing in on you. You might hit it on the ground, you might get a seeing eye single, but with the shift, that becomes even more difficult. But guys were either laying off of it or they were fouling it off, and he just didn't have the usual success that he does. So I think James Paxton, we need to watch closely to see if he is fully recovered from this surgery. I'd say if his velocity doesn't increase next time, the Yankees should be a little bit more concerned. Either way, your number 2 starter needs to do better than an inning plus in his first start of the season. The next topic I want to talk about is one that I've seen online a lot in the last few days. People want the Yankees to trade Clint Frazier. Now, Clint Frazier was just sent down to the alternate site. The Yankees have a separate site. I don't know where it is, but hopefully it's far away from all the catastrophes of 2020. And Clint Frazier is going there. He's going to a farm upstate for a while. But Clint Frazier is kind of a polarizing guy for fans. Some of you are going to love him. Some of you are going to not like him. I personally, I like players based on how well they perform. And I think Clint Frazier is a great hitter. I think he's a great hitter. I think if you gave him a full season, 500, 550 at bats, I think he's going to hit 270. I think he's going to hit 32, 35 home runs, drive in 80 to 100 runs. I really do. He's that kind of hitter. I don't think he's going to walk a ton, but he is pretty selective, but he likes to hack. He's selective to get himself into good hitters counts. He's not a guy who's looking to walk. He's looking to mash. He's got a cocky amount of just swagger, and he's just like, I want to hit. I can take you on. I can hit your best stuff. I've got lightning bat speed, legendary bat speed, whatever it is. But Clint Frazier has struggled on defense. He hasn't had much of a chance to play defense this year, but the couple times I watched him, he looked like crap. I saw him misplay a ball in left field. And, he's blocked. He's blocked. Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball not named Mike Trout. I know he's had a rough couple games, and I know he's been hurt a lot, which is why the Yankees are keeping Clint Frazier, by the way. I know he's been hurt. But Aaron Judge, when he's on the field, is one of the best players in the game. And in left field, you've got Miguel Andujar, Brett Gardner, Gio Urshela, possibly Giancarlo Stanton. Now, I think Clint Frazier at this point is probably a better hitter than Brett Gardner. But Brett Gardner's a team leader. This is probably his last year with the team. Mike Tauchman is one of the best defenders in Major League Baseball, probably the second best defender in Major League Baseball. And he's got a good, sweet swing, good, sweet left-handed swing. And Clint Frazier, frankly, he's pretty one-dimensional. I mean, he can hit, but he really doesn't compete with those other guys in terms of defense. He does have a pretty decent throwing arm, but he's not fast. I mean, he's average speed. So, the Yankees, they're using him as an asset right now. They're obligated to pay him whatever they have to pay him, and they can use him however they want. They can send him to the alternate site, bring him back when they need him. I know it's not fair because he deserves to be in the big leagues, and I'm confident that he will be, but I'm not sure it's going to be with the Yankees. I'm not sure how all the trades are going to work out this year because of all of the coronavirus precautions and safety things. I know there have been a couple trades, but I just don't think the Yankees are eager to get rid of somebody who can hit during a short season where anything can happen. What if Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton both get hurt again? It's not out of the realm of possibility. And if that happens, then you'll need Clint Frazier Now, it sucks to have him toiling away at some minor league complex somewhere, but, he's depth. At this point, because he hasn't excelled at defense, he's become depth. I think after the season, you're going to see him get dealt because he's going to be a free agent eventually. He deserves to play. I think he would fit in nicely in a place like Baltimore, but I don't think the Yankees will trade him to Baltimore because, they don't want to face him in the division. I could see him going somewhere out west. I could see him in a place like San Diego. He would probably do well in a place like San Francisco. That's kind of laid back, maybe even Oakland. Although, to be honest with you, I don't think the Yankees are going to want his bat in the American League. They're going to want him as far away as possible because he's the type of guy who, if you have to face him, he's going to have that chip on his shoulder and he will find a way to beat you. He's just that kind of attitude. He's going to take it personally. He's a good player, not a great defender, and unfortunately, I don't think he's got much of a future with the Yankees. But again, he will make it in the big leagues. He's going to succeed. He's that kind of hitter. It's just a question of where. All right, so I want to touch on the topic of Jonathan Loaisiga, Johnny Lasagna. That's how I say Johnny Lasagna. Johnny Lasagna. It's a crib of a Bill Burr accent that I just got. I listened to so much of Bill Burr's podcast that I'm like, over there. I start like quoting him and stuff. Anyway, go listen to it. I know he's a Red Sox fan, but he's hilarious. So Johnny Lasagna was terrific today. I've always thought that Lasagna has some serious MLB stuff. He's got a fastball that today we saw at 99. I've never seen it hit 99 before. I've seen it 97, 98 a few times, but never 99. He's got a curveball that was always good. It was always a knee buckler, but it seems to be ungodly better this year. I mean, it reminded me of Dwight Gooden's curveball. Or Darryl Kyle. I don't know if you know Darryl Kyle. He's a pitcher. He died several years ago during the middle of the season. He pitched for the Astros. He had a nose-to-toes curveball where, let me get my baseball. He would throw it directly over top. And for all you young guys out there, if you want to learn how to throw a curveball, just snap the ball. That up. Snap the ball like that. If you can snap your fingers and get it to go straight up and down, that's the curveball spin, that directly over the top spin. But I've always thought that Loaisiga, his curveball reminded me of Dwight Gooden, of Darryl Kyle, because they both had that tight over-the-top spin. Now, Loaisiga never had a huge curveball like he did today. Today, that thing was breaking from the hip and ending up in the dirt. That was filthy. And he was 97, 98. He had good command. He had a good changeup that was showing great movement at 90 or at 89. That's Tommy Kahnle's changeup. He's basically got Gerrit Cole's fastball and Tommy Kahnle's changeup. Think about that. And now this curveball, which I can't even compare it to anybody that I've seen on the staff, because to me, I think Loaisiga has the best curveball on the staff. I mean, maybe Gerrit Cole. I didn't see enough of Gerrit Cole yet to know what his breaking ball looks like. I know he's got a tight slider. He's got a pretty good hook. But Loaisiga today was, and maybe I'm just blowing it up. Maybe I'm just excited because he pitched well. But that's the best I've seen him look in a while, if not ever. When he first came up to the big leagues, he pitched against the Rays, and he was lights out. I think he had 8 strikeouts in his debut, and he went like 5 or 5 1/3 innings. He's always had trouble getting deep into the game. He's a little guy. He puts a lot of stress on that shoulder. He's had a lot of arm problems. Every year he goes on the injured list at least a couple of times, and when he comes back, he's not the same. But he's always great in the beginning of the season. If the Yankees can figure out a way, and maybe Eric Cressey, the new trainer who joined, can help with this, if they can find a way to keep him healthy, they've really got something there. He is the perfect opener because he can throw 3 innings of basically closer-type stuff to start out the game. And then today, that was a weird move that Aaron Boone went right to David Hale rather than going to somebody like Chad Green. I guess it worked out in the end, so I can't really question it, but I would rather he goes to Chad Green in that situation, with the game within reach. A guy like David Hale, I just don't have a lot of confidence that he's not going to serve up a 3-run home run. But hey, it worked out today, so I can't talk too much smack. But really, really excited about what I saw from Jonathan Loaisiga. All right, so I wanted to do a channel content update. Some of you know this already if you've seen the last couple of game day shows. I've split the game day show into two parts. I discovered just from my viewing analytics and just from other things that, just from watching through it a few times, that it works better as a two-parter. You know, to talk about a game and have the video out there before the game so that people can watch the game, can maybe refer back to the things I've said during the game if they want, even if it doesn't get as many views and it is a higher production quality and it's a little bit wasted on, you know, a pregame show which doesn't get a ton of views. But then I'll also try and do a postgame show each game. I can't promise that I'll always have a pregame show. I'll try and do one most days, but time permitting, it is tough to do two different videos each day. But I will try and do a longer version of the post-game show at least each day, where I'm going to try and do 5 to 10 minutes on what went on during the game. The last couple games have been difficult because it's been tough to get my hands on highlights during the game because the games are on national television, and then in Washington I'm subject to the blackout rules. That's why you saw me film a lot of those videos with my camera or with my iPhone. So now that they're going back home, they're going to Philly and then Yankee Stadium, I'll be able to get on MLB TV and record the interesting things that I see during the game, so that way I can do a little bit of a longer breakdown after the game. So thanks to everybody who's become a part of the channel over the last few days. I've had a ton of fun working on this. Please continue to share it. Send me your questions at NYY Recaps on Twitter. And I will try to maybe respond during the show, during one of the pre or post game shows, or during one of these podcasts. So thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.